We are live. Welcome. My name is Barney Kunze, and I'm the creator and founder of the Animal Wellness Summit, and also your host for tonight's little talk show style interview with all of our presenters that I have on tonight. And so thanks for those of you who are just logging in live and getting rolling. And I want to thank you for taking time and investing the most precious commodity that we all have, otherwise known as time, and the only thing that once spent in life you never get back, or at least very few things. So I really appreciate it. And tonight we have, or today, if you're like Dr. Will and you're in India and it's halfway through the day, I'd say tonight or today we have Michelle Atterby with us. And so welcome, Michelle.
Thanks, Barney. It's great to be here.
Yeah. So, we'll just get straight into it. You're obviously a presenter with the Animal Wellness Summit, and this is the first time around. And so what I'd love to do is just have you kind of share your story, like who you are, what you do, and just kind of a little bit about you. And then I have a couple more questions. And then I'm going to be still here, but I'm just going to have you in the solo mode, so you won't see me, but just know that I'm still here, okay?
Great. Okay, so I'm Michelle Atterby, and I'm the founder and director of the Positive Horse Academy and Spirit Gate Farm on Vancouver Island in beautiful British Columbia. And I host retreats and facilitate workshops and clinics and individual and group sessions. My first line of work actually is I'm a certified equine facilitated learning coach. So I really help people to dive deep into their personal discovery in the company of horses. But I'm also an equine behaviorist and positive reinforcement trainer. And so that's what I'm bringing forth to this platform.
Very cool. So you said you are mainly just training animals, or do you train humans that need some positive reinforcement?
Yeah, it's really a combination of both. Yeah.
Okay. So how long have you been doing what you're doing?
I've been working as an equine facilitated learning coach for about 15 years. And, you know, it started for me 25 years ago. I've always been fascinated with behavior. Fascinated with it. So I started my university education and pursuing a degree in psychology. And I found that for me, it was just a little bit too limited. So I dropped that program and I pursued a 4-year diploma in body-mind therapies and mindfulness practice. And parallel to that, at the same time, I did a 4-year diploma in traditional Chinese medicine, because I was fascinated with how energy and emotion facilitated the healing process. And of course, parallel to that, I've always been fascinated with animal behavior. And so that led to a university education and a certification in applied animal behavior through the University of Washington, and a graduate of the Karen Pryor Academy. And they are on the leading edge, in my opinion, of training in animal behavior. And now I'm actually in the process of applying to do my master's degree in clinical animal behavior. So yeah, I'm a bit of a science geek, and I'm very passionate about it.
Yeah, well, that's cool, because if you're not passionate about it, then it's just not that enjoyable, right?
That's right. I could talk about it I could talk about it all day long.
That's awesome. So you got referred to us by another presenter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so did you hear about this event? So this was the first time that you heard about the event was Carolina, right?
Yeah, that's right. A few weeks ago. And I've been following Carolina's work for a long time. And that's when I thought the opportunity to bring forth what I'm passionate about and the science behind how horses learn, how we all learn, really. The principles and practices are the same: human, animal, animals, human and non-human. It's all the same thing. Yeah. And I thought, wow, this is such an amazing opportunity to, share a little bit about what I know and what I love, and the effect that I see in my own animals, and how they value from it.
Right. So if I could clarify, because my detailed brain works very well, but right now, after everything I've been processing today, can you clarify again for me? Is the majority of what it is that you do, is it mainly for horses, or does it apply to dogs and other animals as well?
It's mainly for horses, but I do also work with dogs.
Okay.
But my passion is truly horses.
Okay, cool.
But I have a variety of animals on the farm. I've got 14 horses, 3 rescue dogs, and a rescue pig.
That's
and
awesome.
Most of them have come to me with unwanted and problem behaviors. And so I really wanted to figure out the best way to help them resolve these unwanted behaviors. And so they have been my greatest teachers. I have my own little science lab going on here. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I think that for those that are watching and are, don't have the opportunity or privilege to live on a farm, but they're animal lovers or pet parents, and they're living in the concrete jungle, and it's a greatest to get out to go spend time and commune with nature and animals. It's pretty special. So I think if we were to look at it from what the one presentation, are you doing one or are you doing 2?
Well, I'm hoping to do 2. I've submitted 1, and I'm hoping to get the next one in the next day or 2.
Well, if that's your hopes, then that's probably what'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very awesome. So any other, I'm just going to show this here. So Jill, welcome Jill from Broken Arrow. There's people in from New Mexico, Alabama, New Jersey, another one from New Mexico, St. Louis, and a couple other places that are it's pretty awesome to be able to get connected. And we have Dr. Will all the way in India.
Awesome.
So what would be your highest hopes as we kind of close things off? As we've had a chance to get to know you a little bit better. What are you most hoping that people are going to learn from your presentation and have as a take home?
Yeah. So when we're talking about behavior science, and how horses learn, there's 3 things or 3 key points that I really hope to impart. And the first one is, how do we resolve unwanted and problem behaviors through the process of habituation? And there is an effective way to do it, and there is an ineffective way to do it. And all too commonly in the horse world, we really see the ineffective approach. And it's a process of flooding our horses, which is also known as response blocking. So when we do that, we're eliciting tension in our horses and possibly fear and worry, and then they're not able to think as clearly and problem solve. So it's a pretty ineffective approach. The effective approach to resolving problem behavior is what's called systematic desensitization and counter conditioning. So those 2 processes together can resolve any problem behavior that I've ever encountered. And I'll give you an example. So last year I was working with a horse who was biting, and it had escalated to the point where it was now aggressive biting, and it was based in fear. And it's probably started out as, the horse nipping and being smacked on the nose, which would be, I can understand that. It's kind of a reflexive response. But what it actually does is it reinforces the behavior you don't want. And so it starts to escalate. And now it became an issue where the horse would bite first because people were now becoming aversive, right? So it was a defensive behavior. And, I worked with this horse for 2 months to resolve this behavior. And at the end of that 2 months, I had changed all of those unpleasant emotions that he was experiencing with people to pleasant emotions. And the behavior is completely stopped. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. The second thing I want to talk about, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's incredibly powerful, incredibly powerful. And when we can develop our observational skills to see our horses or our animals thinking through a process and trying to problem solve, and then reinforcing them in those moments where they're trying to get the right answer, as opposed to correcting them for the wrong answer, we are miles ahead, miles ahead. And it elicits a curiosity in them and an engagement and a willingness that they are ready to play and offer way more than we ever anticipate or expect. So here's another example. Or no, I'll hold on to that example to my third point, because it's kind of fun. The second thing I want to talk about is what is classical conditioning, and how does it apply to our horses, and what is operant learning, and how does that apply to behavior and training. And so classical conditioning essentially is, the association to pleasant and unpleasant experiences. And by nature, we are drawn towards pleasant experiences, right? Human and animal, we're drawn towards things that feel good. We want to avoid or move away from things that are not pleasant, that elicit tension and worry and fear. And so when we can think about those principles in our training programs, it kind of changes the whole dynamic. It changes the whole way of the way we approach training. And then when we look at the quadrants of operant learning, our horses really learn best when they are being reinforced in positive ways. And the horse will choose what the reinforcer is. It's not our choice. She will choose, because she will respond favorably through her behavior when she is being reinforced in a way that elicits that curiosity and that seeking and playfulness. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. And then the third point that I really want to impart is the power or the empowerment of giving our animals choice in their learning. When we can give them control over their own learning experience, I'm telling you, Barney, what I see as a result in my animals is just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've experienced this. So here's my little story.
Yeah.
One of my mares that I ride, she's just so comical. She cracks me up. When she's had enough in our training session, if we've been riding for a while and working on a particular behavior, when she's had enough, she's been taught to line up at a mounting block so I can get on her back. So she lines up for me, I get on, we go through our training session. So when she's had enough, and I get a feeling, it's kind of like I get a feeling in my body, and she's not obviously as energetic or engaged, and I drop the reins and I'll say to her, have you had enough? And she will walk to the mounting block and line herself up for me to dismount. She'll tell me through our training session, that's it, I've had enough. Mm-hmm. And so then, by honoring that and respecting her choice, and I end the training session, then the next time we go out to ride or play, she is willing and engaged and curious, and it's just creates such a fun environment, a playful, fun environment for both her and I. So that's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, no, that's pretty awesome, because as you're talking, I'm not an animal trainer, and I'll let the cat out of the bag here, no pun intended. I'm not an animal expert. Somebody's like, what the heck are you doing, running this animal summit? And I'm like, well, because I'm an expert at bringing people together that are sharing ideas that matter with people who care. And so as I'm listening to you talking, I'm a coach in holistic health in the fitness business or just industry. And as I'm listening to you talk, I'm thinking, this really just applies to humans as much as it does animals.
Of course it does.
In the sense that, even though you listen to it like, oh, wow, that, be intently focused specifically on just an animal. But when you look at it from the standpoint that just this can apply to humans. It really just that leadership training and or basic principles into not only horse training, but dog training and other animal training as well.
It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
It's really about partnership. It's not a hierarchical leadership. It's about partnership and coming together and collaborating and connecting.
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited to learn more from you and your presentation, and I'll talk to the person behind this whole event and see if we can get your second presentation in.
Awesome. Thanks, Barney.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, and yay for Canada. We've got some representation north of the border, right?
Yay for Canada.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, thank you. You're welcome to stay in the lobby section with the other guys here, and then you can still in. I just won't be able to hear you. And hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to Michelle. You're going to be able to listen and learn more from her. I was going to say next week, but in a couple of days. I don't know when your presentation is actually scheduled for, but at some point in the 10 days.
Excellent. Thank you. Thanks for this opportunity. I love it.
Thanks, Michelle. All right. And as I get set up here, you guys can go ahead. I'm going to bring Dr. Will Falconer in. And I was joking with another presenter the other night. I'm like going to talk smack about them. And then right now they can't defend themselves because I can talk and I have the floor. And now I'm going to bring Dr. Will in. I'm not actually going to do that. I just say that because I like to put a smile on people's faces, and it looked like it worked with Dr. Will. So welcome, Dr. Will. Thanks for joining in.
Thanks for having me, Barney. Glad to be here.
Yeah. So if we were personal training and you were my client, you would have not been able to get your money back. I've offered a money back guarantee on all my sessions in the last 13 years, and I've only given money back once with one basic rule. If I can't make you laugh or smile in the session, then I have to give you money back. And it usually because I don't have to work too hard to have people laugh at my expense. But anyways, let's get into it because I know that you have an appointment that you need to get to and your time's precious. So why don't you, in case anybody that's watching is wondering who you are and what you do, and just kind of a little bit about you, because I know it's very interesting and unique. So I'll let you have at it.
Yeah, I've been a vet for nearly 40 years now. And I started out my first 7 years in conventional practice in a mixed practice where we saw dairy cows and horses and dogs and cats, using all the latest drugs and all the latest surgeries and, doing the conventional medicine shtick. And 7 years in, I just got an intuition that I should leave that. And I was in a spot at that time where I was following intuition quite closely and listening to some people who were influentially saying, your intuition's not there to screw you up in some way. So listen to it, follow it. So I literally overnight told my wife, I'm going to leave practice. And I went in the next day and told my partners, I was a partner in this practice by now, that I'm out. I don't know what I'm going to do exactly, but I'm going to leave. And they were all surprised. My clients were all surprised. They all liked my work and they were happy with me, but I had to follow this thing and I didn't know where it was going to lead. So it was a bit like jumping off a cliff. And what transpired from that was a big shakeup in my life. I ended up moving across into Hawaii, and my wife left me single parenting my daughter for a while, who was only 4, and that all shifted, and I fell in with a new family who was kind of a ready-made family, and moved everybody across the ocean, and ended up not being licensed in Hawaii and going through poverty, going through just all sorts of crazy transition. And after about it shook out, and I started to get my feet back under me again, and got hired by the state of Hawaii, research on the rabies quarantine for them, one thing after another. And I realized pretty early on in having a lesson that indeed I wanted to still be in veterinary medicine, but just in some other way. And I was exposed to the holistic way through the Academy, or the American Holistic Veterinary Medical Association. I joined, I started getting their journal. And in their journal, I would see these case reports of animals who were healed with acupuncture or homeopathy and energetic stuff that wasn't anything like I was trained in. And I literally started retooling. So first I just had Dr. Pitcairn's Guide to Natural Health for Dogs and Cats, and I would see a handful of patients on the side while I was working a state job for the state of Hawaii. And I'd say, well, I don't really have a modality to offer you, but I'm not using drugs anymore. Let's give your dog or your cat a new diet. And we'd send them home get them on homemade food. And they'd come back in 3 or 4 weeks and say, you know, what I came to you about is now better thanks to the diet change. And I went, wow, that's really significant. I didn't use any drugs. I didn't do any surgery. And we got this fabulous response to just changing the diet to something more species appropriate, something more like a wolf would eat, something more like a bobcat would eat. And it evolved from there. I studied acupuncture and became certified after a year and presenting some cases to my cohorts and that sort of thing. And I started putting needles in as my treatment modality and saw some amazing things there. But finally, I came to study homeopathy and just really fell in love with it. It was this total science of 200 years or more of giving these ultra-diluted remedies that would stimulate a patient to get better on their own with something that's completely safe, something that's non-toxic, and something that's individually chosen for the state that the animal's in. And that was in 1992, and I just practiced that and nothing else. I put the needles away, I put the herbs away, and I went on to become a full-on homeopathic vet. Well, early on in that course, one of the things that we all learned was that there was a textbook that came out in 92 called it, and it comes out every 4 years, called Current Veterinary Therapy. And they announced in a chapter in there, some veterinary immunologists said, you know, at the time, annual vaccination was happening. And it was across the board. And these immunologists stepped in this chapter and said, there is no immunological basis for vaccinating an animal regularly. A, they don't get any more immune than they already were from their early shots. And B, it's quite likely that there can be ill effects. So I started realizing that I had to reach a wider audience. And I put a blog together probably in the late 90s. And started telling the world about what I'd been learning and how holistic healing was a great modality in various shapes and forms, but how prevention really had gone awry. And it's only been in the last maybe 10 years or so, treating ill animal after ill animal, you know, as often as the doctor of last resort, DVM/DLR, doctor of last resort, that all these diseases that we're dealing with nowadays are chronic in nature, meaning they're just stretched out over time. They're not acute like they used to be, like parvo is an acute disease. You get over it or you die within about a week. But chronic disease is allergies and funky ears and itchy skin and hypothyroidism and heart disease and arthritis and all these things that are they're long lasting and they don't get better with conventional medicine. What I realized about 8 or 10 years ago was that these are all, without an exception, man-made diseases. And that was a revelation to me. It was like, that, especially in the name of prevention, it's so ironic, in the name of prevention, we're actually causing these chronic diseases to show up. We're over-vaccinating, we're sending them home on lifeless diets, often in the name of science, or prescription diets, or premium diets. They're lifeless, they're toxic, they're not species appropriate, and we're dunning them with poisons to kill fleas and ticks and heartworms. And all these things put together are having the effect of making the animals ill. And conventional medicine is totally in that model, and they're not seeing the connection, they're not connecting the dots, and it's a profitable model for them. Whether they realize or not that they're creating the illness they are, they're seeing the animals again about a month after a round of vaccines, and now my dog's itchy. What do we do now? Oh, well, we've got this treatment and that treatment. And so I really stepped up my game about 6 years ago and started to teach courses online to say, I've got to get out in front of this. If I'm not reaching a wide audience of people to say, here's how to do prevention naturally and step out of that paradigm that's so damaging, I'm not doing service to the animal kingdom. And so that's what I've been up to in the last several years, is just getting out in front of the prevention game as much as I can and teaching people how to do it in a natural way, in a natural rearing way. And it's been phenomenal. I get success stories back from people who've taken a course and said, you know, one recent one, a graduate said, you know, my bitch is 10 years old. She's having a litter of pups. And this is the first time in having several litters over the years that she's shiny and glows, and she's got more milk than she's ever had. And I'm going, okay, so yeah, you applied this natural rearing stuff, and she stepped right up and said, oh, thank you, I've been waiting for this. Now I'm going to do better at what I'm normally doing, which is raising pups. So all sorts of things like that, and it's really phenomenal what can be accomplished.
Yeah, I kind of like jumped right in there and ruined your last sentence, but I think it's remarkable, really. I think that, you know, I grew up on a farm and we weren't, you know, I would say that, or I'd like to think that we were progressive in thinking how we raise the animals, but I know that there's a lot more to be learned. And I think that it's really cool just listening to you speak, because something like that story about the client, or your student rather, like that literally is going to change not only their lives, but like individually as a human or a person or pet parent, but also the pups that are going to come from that litter, right?
Yeah, yeah. What I see is that the ripples go further and further out. The more people learn this stuff and start applying it, it's like those animals become what I like to call vital animal ambassadors. They're just like this glowing, healthy animal, and people go, wow, how did you get this animal so bright and so shiny? Her eyes like glow and her teeth are brilliant white, and I can't, you know, avoid petting her and digging my fingers in her fur. It's so soft and so resilient. And it's like the story then unfolds. Well, I don't vaccinate her every year anymore, and I don't poison the fleas, and I don't poison the ticks, and I treat her preventatively for heartworm with a non-toxic approach. And, you know, I feed her a raw diet, and it's balanced, and yada, yada, yada. So minds start to change. And as the paradigm starts to shift, more and more people are coming together. I've got an on fire Facebook group of students who just, you know, they're constantly discussing ways that we can do better. And it's an amazing thing to see the progression of how the influence, you know, ripples out.
Well, yes, and I will agree. I mean, I'm excited because with the work that we're doing together. You know, we're going to be going through your course as well, and so I'm really excited not only to learn more from you in your summit presentation, but also just learning a little bit more because we have some pretty grandiose plans for our farm. Restoring our bank barn in Ontario, Canada, and we're going to having all kinds of cool things going on. But it's pretty awesome because I know that in holistic health, one of my mentors and coaches is named Paul Check, and he's the pioneer in the holistic health world, and he's just an amazing guy. And he said, the sign you can tell a really great teacher not by how masterful they are in themselves and the work that they do, but how many masters they create of the work that they share with others. And so I think that a lot of what you're saying is that, you know, now that you're teaching this, that your students are going to be able to take this and share it and literally just radiate outward. And that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, I'm very much of the mind that I'm just a facilitator, and the real heroes in the story are the animal parents, that whether they're horse owners or dog owners or cat owners, when they apply this stuff that I'm teaching and they see the results, they're the heroes in the story. They're creating a whole new world of health for their animal, and again that radiates out and affects so many other people. So the ones that are applying and doing the work, it's just an amazing thing.
Yes. So 2 questions that I want to, if you wouldn't mind, actually, and keep this brief as we can, but if you can give a short little punchy answer, that'd be great. And then we can get Dr. Erin on here, and then get you to your appointment. So I'm going to actually pull it up here. But this one with a dog diagnosed with pancreatitis. And so can you see the comment on your end? Might be easier if you just, okay. So what would you recommend from a holistic food option for something like that?
Well, a raw balanced diet that should be just fine for that animal. But more importantly, it may not be diet alone that cures this condition. It's a chronic deep-seated condition, right? It's very interior. The pancreas is a central organ, whether you're asking about it in traditional Chinese medicine terms or just physical digestion terms. So I would do 2 things. I would get on board with a homeopathic vet that's different than a holistic vet. I've got a list on my blog. If you look up vitalanimals.com/blog, you'll find an article, recent article, where I've got a list of homeopathic vets I recommend who work by telephone. Doesn't matter if they're across the country from you. But you want to cure that chronic disease. And diet is a helper, but often it has limits. So I would never disrecommend it, but it can only go so far. So you want to get some medicine in the picture that's homeopathic medicine. It's not do it yourself at home. It's difficult to cure chronic disease, and it takes a trained professional to do it. So just download that. It's on a blog post that's got metronidazole in the title, because I was telling people to get off that wagon of using that gut drug. But it's curable with anything conventional medicine offers. Probably not wrong.
I think the last part cut out there for a second. I don't know if it did for everybody else. What was that last part you said?
Oh, just that it likely needs to cure a chronic disease like that.
Okay.
It won't likely be cured. Diet is a helper, but it probably can't cure the chronic. That's where homeopathy shines.
Okay. Cool. I think it was still cutting out there a little bit, but is that? I hope that's the right. I checked it. I think that's the right website. Yeah. Make sure that it's all good. And then and maybe the this is the sign that Dr. Will's time on the call tonight is done with the internet. But that was great. There was another question here. Debbie was asking. I don't know. This one, yeah. Somebody's asking about your course, the next NR course, I think, and we're going to have some. I don't know. We can just tell them that you and I are working on some secret sauce in the background. I think there's going to be something to do with December 2017, right?
Yeah, actually, I think we're working on a workshop starting November 27th. So that's a date to circle on your calendar, and Barney will give you more information about that. Yeah,
because it's going to be Dr. Will and I are working, but basically to let the cat out of the bag, but not really, is that we're working on something behind the scenes, and that's exclusive for you guys, because there's been a lot of reshared some of Dr. Will's your course early. I don't know, it was in August, maybe September. And inundated with requests, people asking, and I said, I think it's closed now. But basically, we're going to get through the summit, and then if you guys are interested more, you'll be able to, be able to learn more. So thank you, Dr. Will, so much. I know there's some more questions on here we weren't able to get to, but I want to put this on here. It looks like Diane said thank you for answering the question, and then Lisa was saying, love you, Dr. Will. So thanks for taking the time. And I know that I said that you are from Texas, but you're in India right now, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we don't know where you are in India, and that's okay. But we know that you're there, and everything's all good. So thank you again. Any final closing words of wisdom that you'd like to leave everybody with?
Yeah, just that it's important to keep an open mind, and to think there's only one best way to do things. And even in the natural health world, there's a myriad number of ways to do things. So just keep an open mind, flexible, listen to people's success stories. That always tells a great story. You know, some people will, I didn't vaccinate at all, and my animal's the healthiest generation of animals I've ever. And he's also got a titer for parvo and distemper and even rabies. And I don't know how he got all that because I never vaccinated him for it. So just keep an open mind and know that as you shift in your understanding, the more you learn, the more this will make common sense to you. It's not anything exotic. It's just common sense.
Well, that is the truth. And as my dad will say, and I realize I was talking to you and I didn't slide myself back in the screen here. So I'm talking, you're probably like, when is he going to jump back on? But I would just say that a quote that my dad would say is that common sense is anything but common these days, as a bit of a joke. But so brilliant. I appreciate that so much. And I will let you go. Hopefully you can get to your appointment in time, and look forward to hearing more from you during the summit.
All right. Thanks, Barney.
All right. Thanks, Dr. Will. All right. Okay, so that was pretty awesome. And if you guys are asking more questions, as we're going to get Dr. Erin O'Connor jumping in here in a couple seconds, just go ahead and post your comments. So welcome, Dr. Erin. How you doing?
Hi. Good, Barney. How are you?
Good. Your audio was a little scratchy there. Do you try saying something again?
Can you hear me okay?
I can. Michelle or Dr. Will, can you still hear us there? Just nod your head, because I don't think you can. I don't know. You were nice and clear before. Hopefully it's not just me, but you guys, Diane. What's that?
I just said hi, Diane. As her comment pops up.
I don't know. Maybe it's my computer, but let me just refresh this here, because it sounds a little robotic. Okay, let's try that again.
Yeah.
Okay.
People are saying it's garbled.
Just on your end, just refresh your browser.
Okay.
Just on the internet browser, just go and refresh the screen. It'll kick you off, and then you have to jump back on. Okay, so yeah, we can. Yeah, definitely. Thank you guys for sharing. We can definitely hear, or pardon me, we could see her. But it was getting a little scratchy. So if you guys have any questions, if you know Dr. Erin, you know what she does and the work that she's all about, then definitely go ahead and post a comment there. Let us know. And Erin is back with us.
How does this sound?
Yeah, that's like night and day. Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, sometimes just the way it goes. But this is what happens on a live call. But now, can you hear me okay? And everybody else, can you guys?
Uh-oh.
And audio's not good.
Not good.
Okay. Okay, let me refresh my screen once more.
Oh, no.
Okay, so let's try this again. I think the comments actually might be a little bit behind.
Okay, someone just said way better.
Yeah. Okay, good. So Sandra, well, there's two Sandras there. Okay, good. All right, we're back in business now. So, all right. So, Dr. Erin, thank you for coming on, and you were here right from the start. So, thanks. I hope you learned some as well from the other Michelle and Dr. Will.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah. So, what I'd love for you to do is just take a minute to, if people are wondering who you are and what it is that you do and your story, I'd love for you to share that, just so that we can get to know you a little bit better. And then I'll probably have a couple questions for you. And then same thing, I'm just going to pop myself out so people don't have to look at me longer than they have to. So you go ahead.
Okay. So I'm Dr. Erin O'Connor. I am an animal chiropractor. So I treat mainly small animals. So dogs, cats, exotics. I also volunteer my services at a wildlife center. So I've treated basically all the native wildlife in Illinois. I am also a naturopathic carnivore nutrition consultant. So our carnivore pets, so that's our dogs, our cats, and our ferrets. So I teach raw feeding to pet owners who would like to learn and provide guidance, and basically just teach them how to be their pet's best advocate in health, teaching them how to create health so that less likely of disease and things happening down the road in the first place if we treat the body the right way, if we feed the body what it's designed to eat. Health, usually their health flourishes. So I have a clinic out here, and I also work out of an animal hospital, and then all of my raw feeding consults are online, so Skype or phone, things like that. So cool.
So if people are thinking, well, this sounds awesome and amazing, but I'm in Florida, how's this going to work? Do consults like online as well?
Yeah, so any of my consults are online. Of course, chiropractic here, I can't provide that online, but consults, yes.
Okay. And just so I can put in the comments, what is your website again, Erin?
My website where they can find everything, whether it's animal chiropractic or raw feeding, is drerinoconnor.com.
Okay. Okay.
Are just the abbreviation.
So just all, oh yeah, there you are. I found it. Cool. All right. Well, I'll put it up in the comments for you and for everybody else who wants to learn more about you. And I realized Michelle, I didn't put her website in here. So I'm going to, so I'm not like trying to, as I can clearly show that men can't multitask or not very well.
Multitasking isn't good for anyone.
There's this, commonly said that the way females' brains are designed and that can multitask better than men can, and I've proven that many times over. But yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit more about what you're going to be talking about in your presentation, what they can look forward to with learning from you. Sure.
So I have two presentations, and each one covers my main focuses, animal chiropractic and raw feeding. So for animal chiropractic, I talk about 5 ways to prevent spinal injury in your pet. So it's 5 very easy ways that anyone can implement. And while I'm perfectly fine with, and I'm sure any animal chiropractor out there is perfectly fine with helping a dog or a cat if they have a spinal injury, it's better to prevent it in the first place and create health rather than have to backtrack and work with conditions. But I'm more than happy to help any spinal injuries in the first place. So 5 very easy ways how to implement. And then the other presentation that I'm doing is all about raw feeding. So it's going to talk about the benefits of raw feeding. It'll talk about the myths of raw feeding. There's lots of myths out there. And it will also cover the basics on how you can get started to basically get an action plan in place to do it yourself at home. And of course, there's more than what I talk about to do, but it's going to at least give you the basics to get started with it.
Okay, well, that's really cool. And I think Lee was just saying or asking where you are located, and then somebody answered for me. Diane answered.
Oh. Yeah, Diane, I see her dogs. I adjust them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm in Aurora.
That's awesome.
Yep. Thanks, Diane.
Yeah, so this, and I put up your site here. I'm going to keep this up here actually just for a second, but move this out of the way. Because I think that, getting into this, and I'd say really for me, even though, and I mentioned this before, that I'm not an animal expert per se, but I'm an expert being able to bring people together and have a passion to share. But also I'd like to mention, I didn't mention this earlier, but just the right timing now, I guess. But that the reason why we're on this call right now, and it's very timely, we're getting feedback in our support desk and on the Facebook page that people are just saying, oh my goodness, like finally there's something like this that's out there, like a community of people, like-minded people that are sharing valuable ideas that we've been searching for. And you do research online. Is that 7 years ago, I was basically my life mission and vision and legacy was made much more clear to me, even though I had no idea what it actually meant. But it was basically to impact and inspire and educate millions and millions of people around the world to get more in touch and in tune with the plant and animal kingdom. And I was like, well, I grew up on a farm and I'm really passionate about essential oils. I use them. I'm in fitness. And I didn't really see how this was all fitting together. And as I'm listening to Michelle talk and Dr. Will talk and you talk, it's pretty interesting seeing how everything's really kind of piecing together, and that I can imagine that some people are thinking, well, I've never taken my dog or my, one of my pets to a chiropractor. But that's what you basically, like, if I'm clear, that's what you spend the majority of your time doing, right? Is adjusting animals, right?
Yep. Yeah, so I mainly see dogs. I also see cats. Cats hide pain easier than dogs. They're great at hiding problems. I also see exotics, so ferrets, rabbits, guinea pigs, parrots, birds. Oh, yep, there's someone with ferret that knows about ferrets commenting there. Yeah, and I mean, at the Wildlife Center, sometimes we don't have any history on animals. So it's a goose that got hit by a car or a raccoon that was found. It's all sorts of animals. Just we're trying to adjust them, get their nervous system working as it should, restore mobility, normal motion, and get them on their way. So with animal chiropractic, if you're familiar with chiropractic for people, it works the same way. So they're adjusted a little different because their anatomy is different, but the principle is all the same. So I'll go through every joint in the body, check the motion, check the position, adjust wherever it's needed. And some of the conditions that I'll work with are things like limping, arthritis, neurological conditions like seizures, paralysis, ataxia, so that's a drunken wobbly gait, even things like allergies, because if we get the nervous system working as it should, we're going to stimulate the immune system to work like it should. And then even performance dogs and overall wellness, just to maintain health. And that's the one that I really love, is just maintaining health and supporting the body that way. So, but it's really a lot of fun. I enjoy what I do.
Yeah, well, that's pretty clear. Even though I haven't personally gotten a chance to, know more about what you about the work you do. But I think that it's really awesome just because there is clearly quite the need for more, like really just sharing a lot of what it is that you do and letting people know, and, being able to be more empowered with understanding the different options that you do have, because to some degree, I think that people do feel as pet parents or just animal lovers are not really sure what to do. And I mean, I see that in human health. I mean, I'm conditioning and working with people, training clients, owned a gym for about 12, 13 years. And that's one of the biggest challenges that we have too, is that people come in and they're all confused with all these different ideas, and I should do this, or about this diet, or my friend said this, or my friend said that, or my doctor said this or said that. And so I got to be, careful to not add to the confusion. And I can only imagine the level of, the dynamics that you have to consider in the work that you do, with not only working with the pet parent, but actually with the pets themselves, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Lost what I was just about to say.
No, that's good. Well, I think
a lot of it is common sense. It's just supporting the normal processes in the body. So if we do that, then health flourishes. With raw feeding, it's the foundation of everything that I do. Because if we give the body what it's designed to eat, it's going to flourish. And then anything we add on top of that is only going to elevate it even more. So even at my clinic, it's not just animal chiropractic that my clinic offers. I also have a canine massage therapist. So yes, there is canine massage out there. We also offer animal Reiki. So if you're familiar with energy work, that's something for animals. And I know you love your oils, and we offer raindrop for pets as well. So there's always options. That's what I was going to say earlier, is there's always options, and no matter what you do. And a lot of people don't realize that there's more options beyond the traditional veterinary medicine model. So.
Right. Yeah. No, that's pretty awesome. So that's awesome. You do raindrop. Mainly on like the small animals as well.
Yeah, it's mainly dogs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because I know that a lot of people use the raindrop with horses, and I know with the dogs, but in probably a specific way that you have to be able to apply the oils in a safe for them as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's cool. I just was going to share this. Marcia said, said it's great that for all of the people really celebrating this, because I think that, all this information and knowledge has been around for years, but it's just getting out there. And we're really excited. We're at the helm of this, kind of organizing this whole event. And even though we put it on free, it doesn't mean that it's free to put on, but that we organize it in a way that, without you guys as presenters, Erin, there is no event. And then without all of you participants watching and attendees, we couldn't, as much as I think Dr. Erin and I could have a great conversation on Facebook Live beyond here, it's a lot more to have you guys being able to take it in. So do you have anything else that you'd like to share before we wrap things up?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah, no problem.
Really just try and not come out to the summit, but join us in the summit online. Check out all the presentations. I think anyone that goes into the summit is going to learn a lot, and it's all just about creating health, and anyone just taking time to listen to better their pet's life. I think that's awesome. Yeah, agreed, 100%. And I think this is, the plan is that we're going to be doing this every year. And I know that there's lots to learn, and you guys have lots to teach. And so if you're not, for whatever reason, not registered for free, then go ahead and click the link in the comments below. I'm going to be posting the link after. I'm going to try this for 1 second. I'm going to see if I don't know if it's going to pull up or not, but I'm going to show you guys, if I can, my brain, Barney. The option, basically, because we've had a lot of people ask about what the options are for the purchase, because we have the free version. We have the free version, and then where you can sign up, and the way that it works is that you can actually get access to. So the way it's going to work with the summit, if you're coming on and just listening and you're hearing us all talk about this now and didn't get a chance to listen to Michelle earlier and Dr. Will, then definitely go back and watch the replay. But then also keep in mind that we have 3 options for you. So number 1 is the free version, where you can literally just sign up on the link below, and then you can every day for 24 hours at 12:01 a.m. You'll have 24-hour viewing access to all the presentations. So like Dr. Erin, if you're going to be doing 2 presentations, you might be on day number 2 and day number 7. And we're just putting the schedule together this week. And so then you have that free access. And then we have an upgraded version where you can, for $47, you get an all access pass. And then during the 10 days, so on day 7, you can go back and watch days 1 through 6. But then after the summit's done, then you lose your online viewing access. But because this is the summit model is actually pretty, it's getting much more popular, where it's an online meeting, so to speak. You guys will have access to actually watch the content, purchase the content in a multiple different ways. And I'm actually just going to try to do a quick little screen share and show you. If you want to stay on here, I'm going to show you what the options are, so you have a bit of an idea. And then Erin, I'll actually, just so that I can share the screen, I think I'm actually going to have to pop you off here. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you want to hang out in the lobby section, you still can, and then we're going to wrap it up in a couple of minutes. So Thank you so much. Appreciate it. All right, so we're going to see if this will work.
And so yeah, so basically when I pull this back up, you guys should be able to see this. And if I can make myself a little smaller, let's try this right here. All right, so if you guys can give me some feedback, that'd be great, just to let me know if you can see it nice and clear. And just Erin, I know I can still see you. Are you able to see on your end? Does it look like it's pretty clear? Or is it a little small? Oh, right. Okay, I'm seeing you're looking. I forgot that you can't actually talk, but I'm gonna, or you can talk, but I just can't hear you. So basically, this is the buy now page, which is going to be unlocked here at midnight tonight. So if you're watching this as a replay, then you won't see that little timer there. But we have it set up for a limited time for 50% off, where you can go in. We have 3 options. The first one is great for those of you who are in remote areas or you don't do online access or digital downloads that much. Basically, you're going to be able to purchase all of the video presentations, the audio, and the transcripts are all on a flash drive for just $97. And even though I didn't put this on here, there's another summit that we have partnered with called the Healthy Happy Dog Summit. And even though if you're not looking specifically just for dog health information, you're actually going to receive all 30 presentations from them for free. So it's basically like you're buying 1 but getting 2, which is good, pretty amazing. And so you can get the flash drive for $97, or we have our app. We've actually developed an app that's like the easiest way to think about it is think of Netflix and Audible meet content like this, so that you can literally just pull it up on your phone and you can watch, read, and or listen to the presentations. And we sell it as an annual membership. And so it's 50% off until November the 11th. And that is $77. And then we have the digital downloads where, again, you can see that this page needs a quick little update, but that is the digital downloads option where you can purchase that. And then right when the summit's done, you're going to be able to purchase it. And then there's the package right down at the bottom. You can see this is where we had this in our last 3 summits that we've done in the past, where people will ask us, they'll say, hey, I just want it all. I want to buy the flash drive. I want the digital downloads. I just want everything. And so we've set it up where we've bundled everything together. So you basically would receive 12 months of online viewing access in the membership site, and then the fully loaded flash drive, the digital downloads, and then you'd also have full viewing access during the 10 days of the summit, and then you would have access to our summit app for a year. So it's really the best of both worlds. So that's $197, and that's on again until November the 10th. And then there's this other option where if you're like, okay, Barney, this sounds really cool, that's awesome, but I'm not really too sure yet. Then we recommend just considering this one right here, which is the 10-day all-access viewing pass. So like, let's say if I put myself back on the screen here for a second, let's do this right there. So if I was Erin, and Erin said, hey, this is great, but I'm not really sure if I want to buy the whole thing yet, then you can buy the all-access pass, which basically it's $47. And then that's going to give you unlimited viewing access during the summit. And then if any time during that time you decide that you'd like to purchase the full the package, we're going to actually take that $47 and credit it into the full package. So if Erin said, hey, I want to buy the whole enchilada and buy this, I want it all packaged, then all she would need to do is just actually pay the $150 to upgrade. So I hope that makes sense. We're going to be putting some more detail on here for you guys. We've had a lot of you asking, and I'm not just saying this like, oh, we've had all these people like asking, but we literally have like about 30 or 40 people that have emailed in saying, where are the VIP packages or the downloads or the flash drives? And I want to make sure I don't miss out. So just watch very closely. You're going to receive an email tonight if you're on live at 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if not, and you're not interested and you just want the free part, then that is totally cool. You guys can just keep tuning in for free. But the best thing that we'd really love for you guys to do is just share this event again with people who are in need of this, because it always amazes me how when the last 3 years we've done a summit for our essential oil community, then people come in after and they're like kind of borderline really upset and frustrated and like, how did I not hear about this before? And I missed out, and oh my goodness. And we're like, we don't know, we're trying our best to get the word out there. And I'm only saying this because I don't want anybody to feel guilty or inflict fear whatsoever, but just as a sense of empowerment that if you're thinking about somebody right now, just go ahead and share it with them. Remember that it's free. And if they want to buy something cool, and if not, then you can enjoy what you can take in and then have a great day. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. I really appreciate it for you tuning in live, and I'm going to wrap things up. And any questions, you can go ahead and send us a message over at our support desk at support@animalwellnesssummit.com. or we look forward to seeing you on our Facebook page. We have lots of great content on there. I know Dr. Erin has one of her videos that explains what it is that she does, and some of the other presenters, and there's lots of content that's going to be on there. And yeah, so thank you, Jamie, for your passion and enthusiasm. We really do appreciate it, that you did find this, or maybe the event found you, and that you're excited about it. And we're excited to have you guys be part of it. And so I'm just going to say thank you. Have a great night. And if you're like Dr. Will and you're in India or another part of the world and you're just starting your day or midway through, then enjoy the rest of your day. And if you're watching this as a replay, thanks again. And we'll talk to you guys soon.